Welcome to Armchair Anonymous. I'm Dan Shepard, and I'm joined in absentia by Monica Padman. Today's Armchair Anonymous is kind gestures from strangers. And if that sounds too PG rated, I will assure you that there is a gift within these kind gestures in the form of an unauthorized evacuation. So it's going to deliver on all fronts. Please enjoy kind gestures from strangers.
Hard times come and go. Good times, take them slow. My life, I had them both. Remember one thing, you gotta know, I'ma keep on shining.
Is this Joanna?
It is Joanna. Hi.
Are you under a bunk bed?
I don't have a real closet I can sit in my house. I am under my daughter's loft bed that I've kind of makeshifted.
You're at like a desk situation?
Yeah, it's a little coffee table. I made it homey under here.
How old is she?
She is 4.5 going on 15.
Cute.
What part of the country are you in?
I am in North Carolina, right outside of Asheville, actually. Really rural out here, but we love it.
Okay, please tell us about your kind gesture from a stranger.
This story takes place in Jacksonville, Florida, back in 2011, and I was about 19. I was a local musician at the time, and I was gigging at a restaurant downtown that I also waited tables at with my brother. And this guy comes up after the show and was like, "Hey, you guys were really awesome. I would love to come see you again. Can I have your schedule? Here's my business card." He's really nice and kind of just left. And we were like, "Oh, cool. We'd love a fan." So a few weeks later, we're playing the show again. He comes up and he says, "Really liked your set. Can I take you to lunch?" And we were like, "Maybe. Why?"
How old is the gentleman?
He's probably 48. He's much older than me. But my brother's with me and he's a pretty big dude. And so I was like, I guess we could go to lunch. So we schedule it and we go sit down at lunch. We get our drinks and he says, point blank, "I want to be able to help you with your music career. What can I do for you?" And he says, "I'm a defense attorney here in Jacksonville and I represent some really shitty people that do some really shitty stuff. I have a lot of money and I want to be able to help the community. I figured I liked your stuff, so I'd start with you."
Wow.
Yeah, and Joanna, just quick backstory. So for me, it would just be red flag galore. I would have so hard of a time accepting that this could be true. Monica, would you be skeptical or where would you be at?
I'd be skeptical, but I would progress.
That's kind of where I was at. I didn't get any weird vibes from him. And so my brother piped up and he was like, "We could really use a recording microphone." And he was like, "All right, great. How much do they cost?" And he was like, "About $300. So he pulls out his wallet, puts $300 on the table, and he says, "It's yours, no strings attached. Go buy a microphone."
Oh my goodness.
We get to talking and just kind of getting to know him. And he's like, "I bought this really crazy camera that I have no idea how to use. Do you want to try to like film some music videos, some content?" Again, I know it sounds so creepy.
He's like, "Come to my basement. We'll make a music video."
He was never just me. He always had my brother come along. It was never weird. So we hung out for a little bit and then I was talking to him saying like, "Oh, I don't really have a lot of gigs lined up lately and the restaurant is kind of slowing down." And he's like, "Well, I've got some work for you at my office if you want to come work." So he sets me up with this job that I sent flyers out to people who had gotten arrested the night before.
Oh. Really quick, how do you get that list of who's been arrested the night before?
You just go on the public webpage for Duval County and get the whole arrest list. They have an address. So you just put a little stamp on it and send them a flyer.
Oh, wow.
And that was going pretty well. I was working for him for a few weeks and I was talking to him about this landlord situation that I was in. I was suing my old landlord because he was an asshole and he stole a bunch of money from me. And when I sued him, he was like, "You're out of your league." And he really didn't think that I had a leg to stand on. So I was telling Richard, the lawyer, about this, and he was like, "Do you want me to help you with this case?" And I was like, "I mean, it's small claims court. I probably don't need a lawyer." He said, No, let me help you." So this asshole that I had to track down with a private investigator, I had to go to judge's chamber because he tried to tell the judge that the process server didn't serve him. He didn't know there was a court date. So he skipped the first one and I had a summary judgment. And so now he was trying to appeal that. So I walk into the judge's chambers with a high-powered defense attorney behind me, my landlord about shit a brick. The judge and my lawyer play golf together. They're friends. It's just great. And my landlord's just deciding that he's going to really ride this ship home and say that The signature on the process server's pages is not his signature.
Oh.
Lied to the judge's face. And so Richard got up there and it was like a movie scene. He pulls out a piece of paper that has his signature on it. And he's like, do you not agree that this is the same signature as this one? I mean,
Oh.
pinned him down.
Oh, perjury.
Yes. He actually says the word, Your Honor, I rest my case.
How hot is he?
He was like dad hot.
Yeah, sure.
After that whole ordeal, the judge looked at my landlord and just read him to filth. If you've wasted her time, you've wasted my time, you've wasted the court's time. Do not ever come back into my courtroom again. So I got to walk out really victorious, and I got to look at him and go, whose league am I in now?
Oh.
It was really exciting. And so after that, I worked at his office for a few more weeks. And then he told me that he was going on an extended trip to Colorado to see his daughter. And I never saw him again.
Wait.
He just disappeared off the face of the earth.
Richard did?
He never returned to his practice?
I just looked him up, and apparently he is now back in Jacksonville. But I looked back for him for about 10 years after that, and I never really found that he was back. He just disappeared. And I've reached out to him a few times and never heard anything from him.
Is he okay?
He's in Jacksonville now, so I'm hoping that he's okay now.
But your mind went to a great place, Monica, which is he okay? And my mind went to, he had to run from something. This is Jacksonville, Florida. So maybe he was representing some kind of a drug cartel situation and he had to make himself scarce.
Maybe he's a witness protection now.
Could be.
And then it expired and he moved back to Jackson?
Yeah.
Really quick, when he disappeared, how did you know to stop coming to work?
He said he was going to be on a trip in Colorado for a while, so we were just going to stop that for the time being. And he said, I'll let you know when I'm back. And then he just never came back.
I don't know why that reminds me of, I worked at a fabrication place in high school when I was 15. My boss called me into his office and he said, hey, it's your birthday Friday, right? And I said, yeah. And he said, it's your birthday. Don't come in. And I go, oh, okay, great. And then he goes, yeah, and just call Monday and we'll see if we have any work. It's like, wait a minute.
Like letting you go.
He fired me under the guise of you can have your birthday off. Are you still playing music?
Just for a hobby. I've got 2 kids now, so it's not really conducive to gig life. But I play music with my husband. I met him at the Middle School of the Arts in Jacksonville, and we got married and had babies. But my daughter is a musical prodigy. I know every parent says that, but she truly is.
I believe it.
Exciting.
Well, Joanna, so nice to meet you. And that's a really great story. And it's positive and it never turned dark.
I hate that I'm now this
Oh,
person.
you're putting on the Dax hat?
A little. I'm like, maybe he was on drugs and manic or something. He used his mania for good. Gets a little on a tear.
It's inconsistent for you.
I think he was just kind of lonely, looking for a buddy.
But you do paint a good picture. Let's just say everything went sideways. I fucked up everything and I was divorced. I was loaded. I think I would hate myself. And if I could help a stranger, it might buy me little periods of feeling okay about myself.
Well, and then that's okay. That to me is fine. But if he was bipolar or something,
Sure.
and then it was in his mania. Also, that's fine if he did.
I came out ahead.
It was still a very kind gesture regardless.
I'm just delighted he never got pervy.
Me too.
That's all we care about, really.
Me too. Dax, I do have to tell you, my husband will kill me if I don't. We watch Employee of the Month at least once a quarter around here. It's one of our very favorites.
Q1, Q2.
Once a quarter. That makes me so happy. I never talk about that movie, but I really do think that's the most fun I've ever had playing a character. That's the only time I got to play just a straight prick, and
Even
it was so
Frito?
fun. No, this was more fun.
Wow.
It makes us laugh. And I also have to say, I used to live out in an even more rural part of North Carolina where I didn't even have service to drive home. And so I would download your episodes and listen to you in my very windy drive. And so I think I've spent multiple thousands of hours of listening, and I love being a part of this community. I'm so thrilled.
Oh, that's so
thank
sweet.
you.
That's a kind gesture.
Yeah. Well, it's lovely meeting you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
I'm kind of nervous about him.
Pretty exciting.
Well, I just am sad he dropped off the map.
It is interesting.
Do you think the kid had a disease?
No, God.
I'm just, something happened
He
here.
just took a lover.
Well, how about this? He went to visit her, and as he already said, he's loaded. He was going to spend 2 weeks with her. And then he was like, I have the option to just be around my daughter, and maybe she had a family. And he just decided, I'm going to be present, and there's a grandkid in there. What am I going home to? More money?
I didn't know there's a grandkid.
Because he's visiting his daughter, and the daughter has a baby.
How do you know?
I don't. I'm just saying that's
Oh.
a good scenario.
Well, he was only like 48.
He had a kid at 20. His daughter had a kid at 25.
Okay.
The child's 3 years old.
Wow. All right. Maybe that is what happened. I hope so.
Yeah. I'm glad he was dad hot. Rob, do you think you're dad hot? You're way beyond dad hot.
I don't even know what it means.
I do. It means you're fine looking, but you're a dad, so you're trustworthy and you've like got some brownie points.
I think it actually means like you were hot and you're aging nicely, but you're older.
I think it means you were a pass in high school, but now you've demonstrated that you're very responsible and competent, so that ups your attraction.
People can weigh in on what they think the
in the
definition
comments,
of
try to
dad
define
hot
dad
is.
hot for us.
And then mom hot.
Yeah.
And then baby hot.
And then tell us what hot baby
Toddler
looks like.
hot is.
Hot toddler. Hot toddy.
Hot toddy. Do you think that's what it stands for? Oh my God, that's disgusting.
Hi, how are you?
We are wonderful. What a glorious recording instrument you have.
Yeah, my husband is very musical, so we have lots of musical equipment around our house. So when he heard I was coming on the podcast, he was like, I've got you. We've got a blanket screwed onto the wall in our closet. We really workshopped it yesterday.
And Chelsea, would it be fair to assume all this gear has driven you nuts over the years, but now it finally has come to benefit you?
Yeah, it's finally come to pass that it's actually useful.
Okay, so where are you, Chelsea?
I am in Kentucky.
Are you watching Chase for the Crown? It's about the Triple Crown. It's on Netflix. It just came out. It's about horse racing.
I haven't, but I'm actually in Louisville and it's Derby week.
That's why I bring it up, because it makes me want to go to Louisville so bad, because it's so freaking green and hilly and beautiful.
Do you have a hat picked out?
I'm actually not going to the track this year. I've gone the last 2 years.
Should I go? Is it a great time?
Yeah, you totally should come. We're such a good food city. It's like gorgeous scenery, and going down to the track for Derby is a blast.
I should have built a house there instead of Nashville, I
You've
feel
made
like.
a lot of mistakes in your life.
Do you have any lakes?
We've got some smaller lakes. We don't have as many lakes as Nashville or as Tennessee has.
Okay, I feel less bad now.
We do have a river.
Okay,
No,
that'll work.
flesh-eating bacteria.
No. Okay, so you were the recipient of a act of kindness.
I was. It's the summer of 2018, and I've just graduated college, and I'm waiting on my first real big girl job to start. And so I'd picked up a couple gigs as a second shooter for some local photographers. And if you're not familiar with second shooting, the photographer basically hires you to be an extra body with a camera. You're getting some of the background shots, some of the wide angle shots, but you're not really in charge of anything. And a lot of times second shooters aren't professional photographers themselves, myself included.
What was your degree in?
My degree was in economics.
What if you said photography? She goes, I'm not really
but I'm
good
actually
at
not a professional. I'm not that good at it. Although I'm now getting my PhD in English, so I did like a hard pivot. But yeah, so I picked up a few gigs and I'd worked one wedding with a photographer. We'll call her Jane. And this wedding that Jane and I had worked together went really well. We got along. And so she texted me about a week after the wedding and said, hey, I am shooting a surprise proposal next week at a park. Would you come along to get some of the wide angle shots for me so I can get the detail stuff? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So it's summer in Kentucky, which is miserably hot outside, okay? 95 degrees, 100% humidity.
Ooh,
You walk out your door, you're like sweating your ass off. And the proposal is going to take place at a park, and it's going to be scheduled for the middle of the afternoon, so like hottest part of the day. So the day of the event comes around, and Jane is pretty insistent that we drive together because the park we're going to is about 30, 40 minutes away from where we both live. She's like, we can save on gas money. Let's go together. I'm a little skeptical because I don't know Jane very well. Like, we got along fine enough, but I'm like, this is going to be a lot of small talk. Like, I'd rather listen to a podcast in the car or something on my way. But she's pretty insistent. I'm like, sure, why not? So we drive. It's fine. We make our way to the park and park in the parking lot, and she's sort of giving me the lowdown on how this is going to go. The proposal is going to take place at this big overlook at the top of a giant hill. It's gorgeous. You can see for miles. Perfect place to get engaged. But to get to the overlook from the parking lot, you have to walk up this really long, winding path to get to the top. It's like a wide concrete path. And you can think about it kind of like a giant switchback. It's kind of like in a U shape. And to get to the top, it takes like 30 minutes.
Oh,
Oh,
Jesus.
my.
It's a full hike.
Yeah, so the plan for the couple is for them to park and take this nice leisurely stroll through the park, and then he'll propose at the top. So Jane and I get out of the car, and she's like, you know, I really feel like we could save some time if we find an alternate path up to the top of this overlook.
Okay, she's going rogue.
She's like, I'm looking at the map and I see that if we avoid the long winding path, we can cut straight up the side of this hill through the woods. I'm like, this is not what I signed up for today, but okay. So we make our way up this hill. I really am shocked we didn't get poison ivy. We're like pushing branches out of the way, climbing over logs. It's really intense. We've got camera bags on our shoulders, and it's so miserably hot outside.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, we're both panting. We're most of the way up to the top. And Jane's like, I really need to find a bathroom when we get up to the top.
Okay.
Jane's become unhinged.
It's a public park. I'm sure there's a bathroom up at the top. We're a little closer and we can now see the path.
Can I pause you for one second?
Too. I know what happened. Do you?
No, I was going to suggest she has to poop.
Yeah. She was like, I'm not going to make this 30-minute walk, so we have to get there fast.
Oh, that's your theory on why she was hightailing it. Mine was more like, if you got a squirt in the woods, you would just squirt in the woods. She's not going to take a shit in the woods next to her.
Although it is incredibly steep, so I do think it would have taken quite a lot of balancing to find a spot to appropriately go to the bathroom. But anyway, we're making our way up to the top, and she's like, no, I like really need to find a bathroom. I then hear the loudest stomach grumble I've ever heard in my life. She starts screaming, pushes her way out of the woods, runs across the wide concrete path into this little grassy clearing where there's woods behind her, but she's not under any cover. She's out in the open. She starts halfway taking down her denim shorts and starts shitting her pants. Everywhere.
Oh, no.
And she's just standing there, pants halfway off, just screaming like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so embarrassed. Don't look, I'm so embarrassed. Her face is red. You can tell she's in a lot of pain. And when I say shitting her pants, I mean, it's like liquid and spraying. Like, I've never seen diarrhea like this.
And she chose a clearing.
Yeah, it's like she couldn't control herself. She just had to get them off and start going. And the poor thing couldn't stop. It was coming in waves. So she would like have one round. She thought it was done. And then it kept coming. So I'm just standing there in the middle of this wide concrete walking path. I don't know what to do because I don't really know this person. So I'm like, do I need to walk away and give her privacy or do I need to offer her help? I just don't know what to do. She's clearly embarrassed.
Yeah.
She's like, you have to go find something to help us clean this up.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, because we have nothing on us.
Okay, meaning her person?
Her person, it's gotten all over the place.
Fuck.
Like, it's running down the back of her legs. It's like in her shorts. It's a real mess. And I'm like, okay, there's probably like a public bathroom at this park. I can go look for something. She's like, well, before you go, can you check my phone? Because she can't check her phone because there's shit all over her. So I grab her phone and I look to see that the future groom has texted and said, hey, we parked in the parking lot. We're on our way up the path. Okay, so now imagine this like an action movie where there's like a timer in the corner. And we've got maybe 25 minutes to get this all cleaned up and go get in position before the couple is up at the top of the hill, like ready to get engaged.
And that's assuming she's had her last wave of it.
And we also don't know how fast the couple is walking.
And is the couple gonna pass you?
Yes, so we are still about 200 or 300 yards away from the overlook probably. But I mean, she's standing right off this path. So the couple will walk right past the spot. So I take off sprinting further down the hill to try to find a bathroom. And I finally find one and I'm like, okay, perfect. Try to get in. Everything's locked. I'm like climbing on things, trying to push through the window at the top, can't get into this building. And I have to then make a calculated decision. I can keep running further down the hill, but I don't know if there's a bathroom there. And I also risk running into the couple and not being able to stop them in time until they come across Jane standing there covered in her own shit. And so I'm like, I just have to go back up to where Jane is. So I go back up the hill. Poor thing is like sticky, covered in her own poop. She is using leaves and branches to try to clean herself up. And it's 95 degrees and humid, so the smell that's wafting up into the air.
This is a nightmare.
It's a horror movie.
And so we're just kind of standing there at a loss. We have a timer ticking down, and we have no way of cleaning this up because we're wearing like shorts and a tank top. Like, we don't even have extra clothes on us. And Jane is certain that she doesn't have anything in her car that can help us because she just cleaned it out. And Jane also can't just go hide in the woods and let me do it because the couple knows her personally. And so if the groom shows up to the engagement and Jane isn't there, he's going to be like, red flags are going off and it could risk ruining the whole proposal. Then, out of nowhere, we hadn't seen a single soul at the park yet that day. We look toward the direction of the overlook, and this lovely middle-aged woman is jogging in our direction. She's very fit, very in shape, and I'm like, this poor woman doesn't know what's coming. So I flag her over. I'm like, ma'am, excuse me. She gets close to us. She looks horrified, like it stinks. There's poop everywhere. She's like, what did I just run across? I'm like, ma'am, we're clearly in a situation. We're photographers. We're here shooting an engagement. The couple is on their way. We have no way of cleaning up this poop. Like, do you have anything? She's looking very skeptical, but for some reason is nice enough to agree. You know, I think I have some like old beach towels or something in my car. I can run down to my car and look. And I'm like, okay, but here's the catch, ma'am. You can't go down the normal path because you're going to run out of time. So I asked this poor woman to please cut down the very steep hill back down to the parking lot. And she, by some miracle, says, okay, sure.
Oh, what a good Christian woman.
Seriously, like that's Southern hospitality. She runs down the hill. Jane and I are standing there. She is so embarrassed, like can barely look at me in the eyes. I'm trying to be like, it's okay, it's okay. You know, it feels like a lifetime that we're standing up there, but it was probably 10 minutes, 15 minutes. The woman comes running back up. She has a bottle of hand sanitizer and these old musty beach towels. And she's like, yeah, you guys can obviously keep these. We don't get her name. We don't get her phone number, her address. I have no idea who she is, but we just say, thank you so much. And she takes off, finishing her jog back down the path, and we never see her again. And so anyway, Jane uses the hand sanitizer and the towels to wipe up as best as she can.
Sure.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do without a shower.
She pulls her denim shorts, fastens them, turns around, and there's just like a huge shit stain on the back of these denim shorts. And I'm like, okay, well, we got to go. They're 5 minutes away. So we make our way to the overlook, and she's like, here's what's going to happen. You're going to do the shoot. You're going to take my camera. I'll get the wide angle shots and just stay far away. So I'm like nervous because I'm not a real photographer. But anyway, we go hide in the bushes. The couple comes up. They get engaged. It's lovely. They're so happy. The girl is crying. I get some nice detail shots. Jane is waving at them and like strategically maneuvering to like keep her backside away from them the whole time. And then they say, thank you so much. They take off hand in hand back down the hill.
They had no idea.
No idea. And Jane had to stay far away because she smelled like shit. Anyway, we cut back down through the woods back to the car, and Jane had insisted on us driving together. So she had to sit on these dirty beach towels the whole way home, and it smelled like a porta potty for 40 minutes.
Did you guys discuss? Did she go like, yeah, I fucking ate some shrimp tacos?
That's what we were trying to figure out. I was like, did you get food poisoning or something? Because you seemed fine after that. She dropped me back off at home and made me swear that I was never going to tell a soul.
Sure.
So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to tell anybody. I promise. So I get back to my apartment and my roommates are like, how'd the photo shoot go? And I'm just like, it was great.
No.
I sat on this story for like a year, and then I ended up running into Jane at an event. And she was laughing about it and was like, I don't care. You can tell people. It's so funny. So then I was able to unburden myself.
I got to commend her on her work ethic. Yeah. She didn't fucking bail.
But this is like a movie. It's so high stakes. A proposal.
If this woman hadn't been on her little jog, this couple's engagement story would be so radically different. She really saved the day.
I wonder if the couple, though, on their stroll up, when they passed that little clearing, they're like, did you fart? That could have also unhinged the engagement. If she was like, God, Brad always...
We're doing this nice thing and you can't even not fart.
Or he's like, oh no, she smells. Should I do this?
Yeah, truly the wildest thing I think I've ever experienced.
Wow.
I love that. I was not expecting a poop your pants story in the middle of gestures from a stranger. So what a blessing.
Yeah, I listened to the crazy proposal story episode. I was like, I should have written this story in. And I saw the kind gesture and I was like, oh yeah, this woman.
She's a hero.
I'm trying to think. I would say, yeah, I have stuff in the car.
You can come grab it.
No, I
Oh.
would help, but I wouldn't go the steep way. Because I'd be like, I might fall and die.
I would have been like, no, because then she would have thought that was a scam. I was going to say, I would say, what's your car? Give me your keys. I'm going to run down, grab them out of the trunk, and then I'll run back up. But then she probably would have been like, oh, this whole thing's a scam to steal my car.
Right.
That's probably fake duty.
An elaborate plot.
Yeah.
Super sophisticated ploy to steal a car. And you've left someone behind as a witness, too.
Oh, what a
well,
story.
Chelsea, that was great.
That was fun.
Thanks for letting me share it. Can I have two friends come say hi
Yes,
really
of
quick?
course.
They happened to have the day off work and they are the biggest Armcherries that I know. And Dax, you are my friend Rebecca's biggest celebrity crush.
Hi.
How are you?
And this is Brian.
Good. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
This looks like everyone's sharing a coffin.
Her really
Basically.
intense height.
And are you a Kentucky native?
Yes, all Kentucky natives.
Oh,
Yep.
the bluegrass.
Fun.
Well, it's lovely meeting all of you.
You too.
Yes,
Yeah.
lovely to meet y'all too.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you
Bye.
guys.
Hello?
Hello? Is it Janae?
Yes, it is.
And where are you at, Janae?
I'm in Abington, Massachusetts.
Okay, so you received a kind gesture from a stranger.
Yes, I did. During the height of the COVID pandemic, so about May, my husband and I had just found out we were pregnant with twin girls. And so that was a bit of a shock. But at the same time, we also had horrible news that both of my parents had been diagnosed with cancer,
Oh my God.
one right after the other. So my dad with a rare skin cancer and my mom lymphoma. So they had lived in New York at the time. And so when they found that out, they decided that they needed to move close to Boston to be able to go to Dana-Farber. It's like the best cancer center you can go to. So we needed them just as much as they needed us for support. So we were at a point where we were ready to look at buying a house. And so we decided, why not look into like a multi-generational house with an in-law suite? During COVID, it was like finding a needle in a haystack. So my parents were still in New York. They hadn't quite come out yet because we didn't really have a place to live yet. So it was my husband and I really looking at all these places. So I was super pregnant. I was probably 6 months. Our realtor was like, oh gosh, I got to find them a house. So he knew the ramifications of it wasn't just us, but it was my parents that needed a home too. We finally found a house that had everything we needed. It was a complete separate apartment that my parents could live in on the lower level, and we were in the upper level. Had everything we needed. It felt like it was perfect, but it was $100,000 over our budget, which was just too much over at that time for us to be able to make it work. Needless to say, we were heartbroken, but we still decided to put in an offer, and it was below asking, obviously, hoping that the sellers would come down a little bit. And they did. They countered our offer, but only by $30,000. It helped, but it was still not enough. So we kind of let it go and we thought, all right, this isn't going to happen. We're just going to keep looking. But a couple days later, we got a call and the sellers had accepted our offer, a difference of $70,000. And we were stunned. I was like, did the realtor tell them a sob story about us, pull the cancer card? But he didn't mention any of that. We felt so lucky. We cried tears of joy. We were so ecstatic. My parents moved in. They started their treatments, and we were getting ready to welcome our twins. So we never really heard anything from the other realtors at that point. It just was done and all was taken care of. But a year later, we found out the truth. Our realtor had come to us. He was so kind. And he said, I couldn't let this go. And I couldn't see you guys without this perfect home. So he had decided to pay the $70,000 difference for us.
The realtor did?
What?
He debated even telling us. He didn't want to make it about himself.
Did
That's
you know
unbelievable.
him prior to working with him? Were you guys friends?
I had heard of him as a realtor before, but no, we didn't know him.
Wow, that's
that is
extraordinary.
generous.
It was amazing. And to this day, I don't really have the right words to express to him how thankful we are. And he didn't want anything in return. We invite him over and we have barbecues in the backyard and things like that. But we call it our miracle house. And now my twin girls are 4 years old. They're just a joy. And my mom's cancer is gone. My dad's cancer is very stable.
Wow.
Amazing. Oh my gosh, how wonderful.
Yeah, that's spectacular. And you still love the house? You've been there for 4 years?
We love it.
That's wonderful. Well, if you sell it, make like a huge profit.
We'll definitely have to find a way to pay it forward.
That's a beautiful story.
Not shocking, because one of the greatest gifts of generosity I received was when we were stranded at the airport in Boston and those kind people in Wellesley hosted all of us. That was massholes going against the stereotype.
Yeah, not everyone is terrible.
Did you watch the Jerry Springer documentary by chance on Netflix?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I got to tell you just the funniest. If you watch it, you'll be like, I can't believe that was on television. And we just accepted that. That's one shocking thing. But then the other funny thing is they had a rule on Jerry Springer, no guests from Boston.
Oh my God.
That was like a hard rule.
Really?
Yeah, because they had so many guys from Boston come on. They were either lying or they had made up their story. They just wanted to get on TV and raise hell. And so I think that's a real feather in the cap of Boston. All Bostonians banned from Jerry
Too
Springer.
crazy for Jerry Springer. Wow.
I just have to say, I'm a brand new Armcherry.
Oh,
I know
exciting.
you get a lot of people who have listened from the start, but I have a 30-minute commute to work, home and back. And so I thought I need to find some new podcasts. And I stumbled upon it and I've been listening since.
Oh, welcome.
Fun.
What guest brought you in?
It was just one of the anonymous. It was one of the nurse stories. So I started on a good one.
Yes, the nurse. I was just telling my mother-in-law, who's a nurse, that there's nothing more dependable than the nurse prompt.
It's a good one. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi.
Hello,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm so excited. I'm great.
Where are you, Georgeanne?
I am in Terrell, Texas, which is about 30 miles east of Dallas. It's hometown of Jamie Foxx.
Oh, nice.
Oh, well, that's a feather in y'all's cap.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, so you were the recipient of some kindness.
The story takes place in Friendswood, Texas, which is kind of down the Houston area, right in the shadow of Johnson Space Center. And when I was 9 years old in fourth grade, I could not decide if I wanted to be an astronaut or a teacher. Then the most amazing thing happened. My teacher, Peggy Lathlane, was named one of the finalists for NASA's Teacher in Space program.
Oh, wow.
So cool. She had, I'm assuming, a sabbatical. I don't know. She didn't clear it with the 9-year-olds what was happening with her release time, but she wasn't there. She would come back and give us updates on the training that she was doing with the space program. And we had little experiments that we got to design that the teacher in space was going to take up on the Challenger. So, of course, we were so sad that she wasn't selected to be the teacher in space.
Well, as soon as you said this, I'm back in 5th grade watching it live in my classroom, and I'm terrified for what's coming.
Yes. So January 28th, 1986, I will never forget, Miss Cheever came in the classroom and told us to come to the carpet. We knew, of course, that Miss Lathlane hadn't been selected, but we were excited because we were told that our experiment was still going on board the shuttle and that Krista McAuliffe was going to come to our school and share all of the findings from our experiment. I'll never forget sitting on the carpet and watching her chin quiver as she told us what had happened, that the Challenger had been lost.
You guys weren't watching it live.
No, because our principal, it was such a big deal for our school and our community that she had this foreboding feeling like if something terrible happened, she didn't want us all watching this collective traumatic experience.
Yeah.
I was devastated, as were so many of our class, sad for our teacher and for those families. And then for me too, I had been so excited that I don't have to choose between being an astronaut and a teacher. I can do both like Miss Laughlane. And a little part of that dream died for me that day. So by the time I got home from school, I was nearly inconsolable. And my mom owned a flower shop and we lived in an apartment above the flower shop. I'm just sobbing by the time I get off the bus. And she says, I want you to go upstairs, just take a breath, get a snack. It's going to be okay. About an hour and a half later, I come bouncing down the stairs and she's like, Georgeanne, you seem so much better. I'm like, well, I am. I called NASA. And she's like, you did what? I said, yeah, I called NASA and I talked to my teacher and she told me she was okay and that I'm okay and I feel better. I remember very vividly marching up the little stairs. I pulled out the yellow pages from under our counter. So Monica, other young people, it was this big book of phone numbers.
Oh, I know a yellow page.
I looked up the number for Johnson Space Center and called. The operator there connected me to Cape Canaveral, where my teacher was to watch the launch in Florida. So when my mom tells this story to this day, I am the hero of the story. Can you believe she was 9 years old and called NASA?
Yeah.
But really, as I have reflected on that so many times in my life, and I tell the story often in different contexts, is that really the hero of that story was an operator. She was the operator on the worst day. Can you imagine what NASA was like that day? The calls that were coming in, the devastation, the grief, the hurt, and a stranger. She didn't know me, but heard this sad, scared little girl. She could have easily said, honey, your teacher's in Florida. She's busy. I can't find them. Bless your heart. But she took the time to connect me to Cape Canaveral, to find someone there who went to track down my teacher and connect that call to a private place. And I really remember Miss Laughlane saying, I'm okay. And you're okay, and it's all going to be okay.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of times in my life and in the work that I do that I tell that story with just the reminder that acts of kindness that we get to perform to people we know and don't know is what is going to make the world be okay.
You're right. It can have a real lasting impact.
And a domino effect.
Yes.
Yeah, what a hero she is.
An unsung hero. I never was able to track her down and find her, but if she happened to be listening, thank you. Because you made a difference like all these years later.
Yeah, that's pretty
a beautiful
radical
story.
What a day that was. Because we watched it live and every class was watching it. All of the teachers started crying. The explosion was one thing that was alarming, but it was seeing all of our teachers, which we didn't think cried. That was really unsettling. I was like, oh, the adults are really, really all scared right now.
It's like the defining moment of my childhood. One of those, you know where you were.
Wow. Well, Georgeanne, that's a very sweet story.
Yeah, thanks for sharing it.
Thank y'all for giving me the chance to. We have some of the biggest Armcherries in our house. Could I get them in?
Yeah, let's get them all in.
So my husband, Matt, and then this is our biggest fan here. This is Mitchell. He is our college kiddo. He just finished a final working on his master's.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I want to play this cool, but there's no way I'm going to fail miserably. I have to send a very profound thank you to what you guys do. As parents raising boys, it can be really scary because we want our boys to be manly men, but we also want them to be sweet and kind. And Dax, you have created this model for what that can be, that you can like muscle cars in sports, but be an engaged dad. You can work hard, but be a caring and loving husband. You can be tattooed and ripped, but also be curious and empathetic and kind. And Monica, as a young, beautiful, intelligent woman, you have made that okay. And not just okay, but preferred. I so appreciate the gifts that you guys bring the world. And I hope that is not lost on you.
The notion you thought you were going to botch this, that was incredible.
That was overwhelming.
This guy right here, nary a week goes by that he and I don't connect about something that we heard or learned on Armchair Expert. Mitch, did you want to say something?
My little brother and I grew up absolute fans of Zathura. You kind of got us into bonding over movies and stuff like that. And then I started listening to the podcast, and both of y'all have seriously just brought me so much knowledge and comfort and happiness in a lot of difficult times, especially going through college and stuff like that. And thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I'm such a big fan.
Oh, this family, you all made our day.
He just finished a final and he was like, if I have to fail the final to get this. But he didn't fail. He did great.
Okay, well, thank you. You truly, truly made our day.
Thank y'all. It was a joy.
Take care. Oh, man.
Oh, sweet family.
That was fucking delightful.
That was a nice family.
Hey, you intelligent, beautiful woman.
Listen, I don't want to go to space.
No, me neither. Well, I used to want to until we interviewed the astronaut, and I found out it's not pleasant up there. Headaches, can't sleep, bursts of gamma rays in your eyes. They're closed. You can't shit.
Yeah. I loved this prompt.
Me too.
And it has made me feel like I want to do something very nice for someone.
Yeah.
Today. But I am going to the Beyonce concert.
That's a good thing to do for Beyonce.
That's a kind gesture I'm doing for her.
What if Beyonce was on a podcast about kind strangers and she said, this girl, Monica, I didn't even know her. And she bought a ticket to come see me perform. And she bought my merch and she cut in line.
Okay, yeah. This isn't a good day for me to do it. I'm probably going to receive a kind gesture from somebody.
Yeah, you're going to do a little taking today, probably.
No, I'll buy everyone in line a shirt.
Oh, wow.
I can't commit.
All right.
Probably a big line.
I know. I just realized that.
All right. Well, I think you're a kind stranger.
I think you are too. You know what I like to do? This is nothing. But in LA, because we have a lot of parking meters.
Yeah.
If I see that one's out.
Oh, you slide your credit card in there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice. You know what I make a habit of doing is if I have to fart and I'm about to get on an elevator, I fart in the foyer before I get in the elevator as an act of kindness. Yeah. My wife doesn't extend that kindness to strangers. She'll toot right in the elevator because she knows they'll blame me.
Or they'll like it.
You loved that, huh?
That's so funny. You know, Rob's got my numbers sometimes.
Yeah,
I
he sure
like
does.
it.
All right. Well, I think that's it for kind
That was
kind
great.
strangers. That
I
was
like
really
that.
lovely.
All right. Love
I
you.
love you.
Do you want to sing a tune or something? We don't have a theme song.
Oh. Okay, great.
We don't have a theme song for this new show, so here I go. We're gonna ask some random questions, and with the help of Armcherries, we'll get some suggestions. On the fly rhyme dish, enjoy.